to exile. I must go. Failed, I have.
Grandmaster Yoda, the Avatar of Light, Supreme Master of the Jedi Order, the fiercest, the most implacable, the most devastatingly powerful foe the Darkness had ever known, as the Revenge of the Sith novelization puts it. Grandmaster Yoda was one of the most influential light side figures to have ever existed, directly rivaling and conversing the power of Darth Sidious. He continued to be venerated and revered as one of the most powerful Jedi Masters, even into the age of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy and Praxium, outclassing many of the notable initiates of immense power, including Kip Duron, Mara Jade, and Kyle Katarn, who were the most powerful Jedi aside from Luke himself and a few others at the time. Grandmaster Yoda's exile, very similar to Obi-Wan Kenobi's exile, is rather a mystery. However, today, we are going to be unraveling and unveiling the shroud of the dark side that fell over the Grand Master, and deduce what exactly happened during Yoda's exile from 19 BBY to 4 ABY. So, my friends, join us as we venture within the Jedi Temple's archives and pillage the information from the depths of Order 66 and discover what happened on Dagobah during Yoda's exile. On Polis Massa, Yoda communicated with the disembodied spirit and essence of Qui-Gon Jinn, who had agreed to train Yoda in the secret will techniques. The secret will techniques that, utilized by the Force priestesses, enables Yoda to retain his consciousness after death. He also regrouped with Kenobi, who had defeated but not killed Vader, maiming and brutalizing him on the black glass sands of Mustafar. Kenobi brought with him a badly injured Padme Amidala after being force-choked by her husband Anakin, who was treated in Polis Massa. Although Amidala bore twins, Luke and Leia, she died soon afterwards as a result of the birth, and losing the will to live due to Anakin betraying and breaking her heart. Yoda deduced that the babies were immensely strong in the Force, having peered into the Force and seen that they have inherited their father's latent Force potential. When returning to the Sundered Heart with Bail Organa, and reuniting with Obi-Wan Kenobi, he decided that Luke and Leia, the Skywalker children, should be concealed from Darth Vader and the Emperor in secret locations, knowing that if they were revealed to the wider galaxy and the public, they would become instrumental in the Emperor and Empire's rule, with Luke Skywalker and Leia single-handedly being able to subjugate the galaxy, with not Yoda, Obi-Wan, or any surviving Jedi or Sith at the time being able to stop them. Other than the ancient Jedi Master, only the Organas, the Lars family, and Obi-Wan Kenobi would know of their whereabouts and placement around the galaxy. He also informed Obi-Wan that an old friend, Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, had found a way to retain one's consciousness after death, and that he would teach both of them this skill. Yoda would take on a role he had not played in centuries, that of an apprentice, a role that Yoda was normally fulfilling to other beings, being the master while they were the apprentice. The tables suddenly turned. During the Great Jedi Purge, Yoda stowed away aboard an automated Polis Massan registered barge that was transporting grain to starving inhabitants of the ex-separatist planet of Solus Van, which had been abandoned by separatist forces and the Confederacy of Independent Systems after the instatement of Palpatine's galactic regime and empire. The ship briefly dropped out of hyperspace near the planet of Dagobah, undetected and unrecorded. Yoda launched his skateboard immediately and landed on the swamp planet, where he would spend his entire exile hiding on Dagobah from the onset of the Dark Time to the early period of the Galactic Civil War. Yoda soon found and healed the badly wounded smuggler Jory Cardass, who had been wounded by a survivor of the Baphashi Dark Jedi insurrection that had taken place recently. After a revived Cardass left Dagobah, Yoda established his home and residence near the Darkside Nexus, known as the Darkside Cave, which, in addition to a massive number of life spawns, which mask his presence in the living force, counteracted his presence in the light side, with the Darkside Nexus overshadowing Yoda's light side evidence. Yoda's imprint on the Force was concealed, as was his sanctuary from the Emperor's sinister agents. Moreover, Dagobah was one of the only 37 planets that was erased from the Jedi archives prior to the Clone Wars, further ensuring his concealment and anonymity. At some point, he encountered the Children, a group of cultists and cannibals whose parents had been a part of a Republic survey team that had become stranded on the planet decades earlier. For some reason, the Children became immensely afraid of the Grand Master and called him the Imp. Shortly afterward, Ku Ran, another Jedi who survived both Order 66 and its aftermath, went to Dagobah and was taught many skills by the wise and Grand Master. Before the Battle of Hoth, Tash and Zakardana also encountered Yoda. It was during these waning years that the diminutive being developed a fellow taste for root leaf stew, something that would retain until the end of his life. When Starkiller II, a clone of Darth Vader's deceased secret apprentice, travelled to Dagobah to meditate, he discovered the entrance to the dark side Nexus. Before entering, Starkiller met and conversed with Yoda, though he was oblivious to the diminutive creature's identity due to limited intelligence. Despite his vague comments, Yoda assured the clone that his path clearly brought him to the cave, and venturing inside would yield some answers for him. After Starkiller exited the cave, Yoda told him that he had to follow his destiny, to which the clone said he would follow it to the very ends of the galaxy itself. By this time, Emperor Sheev Palpatine increased the bounty on Yoda by a further 30,000 credits. Due to a multitude of attempts at collecting the reward through fraud, the Empire had to modify the conditions so that no one else would be tempted to cheat the Empire and gain unnecessary amounts of immediate credits, so that way they could spend it on useless items. First, the reward was only good for a living specimen. Second, a non-negotiable death penalty was attached to the bounty and would be heavily and strictly enforced on anyone who attempted to collect the reward by handing over a fake Yoda. The Empire also accused the fate of bounty hunter Rurik Kariv to remind others that Imperial authorities were quite capable of deducing the difference between the Jedi Master of advanced age and a dead Jawa stripped of clothing and surgically altered, noting the smell as the first and most obvious sign of deception. Shortly thereafter, Yoda was listed as one of 8 of the Empire's most wanted criminals, alongside Alderaanian Princess Leia Organa, former Mon Calamari Senator Minas Tirith, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, of which they were often issued in recruitment videos for stormtroopers in the Imperial Army, in order to encourage stormtroopers to join the Stormtrooper Corps and to become an elite soldier of the Galactic Empire and its instatements. One day, around 0 BBY, George Cardass suddenly showed up once more on Dagobah, violently and brutally demanding that Yoda put his failing health right. Yoda simply took his blast from the beck and call from his ship and flung them into the swamp, then berated Cardass for waiting a second chance that he had been given. He also told Cardass that he couldn't help him any further, since he was busy preparing for the most important training that he would ever lead, the training of Luke Skywalker, the training that would literally define the future of the Jedi Order, and the training that would call Luke to become the most powerful Force user in galactic history. Cardass became so embarrassed by his own actions that he couldn't return to his crew, so he fled the Exile, where Yoda had indicated he might receive from the anti-monks. At some point during his exile, Alliance historian Major Arhul Hextrafon discovered Yoda's whereabouts and travelled to Dagobah to find him. Yoda initially intended to wipe his mind, but in the end deduced against it, deciding wisely that it was not the Jedi way to cause pain and suffering, in this case, via the loss of memory. Hextrafon was indeed made to swear not to reveal his existence, and he erased the records which led him to Yoda in the first place. And apart from keeping logs in his private journal, it is believed he kept his word, as the Emperor never eventually found Yoda, until Yoda's Force Spirit would communicate with Darth Sidious prior to the Battle of Endor. So my friends, there you have it. That is all our available lore and information we currently have on Grand Master Yoda, Grand Master of the venerated Jedi Order. Grand Master Yoda was single-handedly one of the most formidable light side wielders in all of history, and we are certainly going to make a video going over his most impressive Force feats as well as lightsaber dueling abilities. Farewell, Padawan. The Force is strong with you, and I sense that you are beyond the corruption of the dark side, even in the face of true evil.